Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're tackling a really interesting problem called maximum matching of players with trainers. It sounds a bit like a sports management puzzle, and we'll see that a smart, greedy strategy is all we need to solve it efficiently. Let's break it down together. Alright, so here's the setup. We're given two lists of numbers. The first, called players, represents the ability level of each player. The second, trainers, represents the training capacity of each trainer. The main rule is simple. A player can match with a trainer only if the player's ability is less than or equal to the trainer's capacity. And of course, each player and each trainer can only be part of one match. Our goal is to figure out the absolute maximum number of these player-trainer pairs we can form. Let's think through this example. We have players with skills 4, 7, and 9, and trainers with capacities 8, 2, 5, and 8. Now we could just start matching. Let's say we take the player with skill 4 and match them with the first trainer we see that's strong enough. Maybe the one with capacity 8. Okay, one match. Now for the player with skill 7. We look through the remaining trainers, and hey, there's another one with capacity 8. Great, that's a second match. The last player with skill 9 is left, but there are no more trainers who can handle them, so we got two matches. But this raises a question. Did we make the smartest choices? What if using that strong trainer on a weak player prevents a stronger player from getting a match later? This is where a more organized, greedy strategy comes in. The core idea to solve this problem efficiently is to be greedy, and the first step to any good greedy strategy is often sorting. So let's sort both the player's abilities and the trainer's capacities in increasing order. After sorting, our players are still 4, 7, 9, and our trainers are now 2, 5, 8, and 8. Now think about it. By sorting, we can try to find a match for our weakest player first, and when we do, it makes sense to use the weakest trainer who can just barely handle them. This is smart because it saves our high-capacity trainers for the high-skill players who will actually need them later. It's all about resource management. Okay, with our sorted lists, we can use a classic technique, the two-pointer approach. Imagine one pointer, we'll call it I, starting at the first player, and another pointer, J, starting at the first trainer. Let's trace it. Pointer I is on player 4, and J is on trainer 2. Is 4 less than or equal to 2? Nope. So this trainer is too weak for this player, and for any future, stronger player. So we discard this trainer by moving the J pointer forward. Now, I is still on player 4, but J is on trainer 5. Is 4 less than or equal to 5? Yes, it's a match. We increase our match count to 1. Since we've used up this player and this trainer, we advance both pointers. Pointer I moves to player 7, and J moves to the first trainer 8. Is 7 less than or equal to 8? Yes again, that's our second match. We increment the count to 2, and advance both pointers. Finally, I is at player 9, and J is at the last trainer, who also has capacity 8. Is 9 less than or equal to 8? No. So we move the trainer pointer J forward, but we've run out of trainers. The process stops. We successfully made two matches, and we know this is the maximum possible. Now let's look at the code that brings this all together. It's surprisingly clean, and directly follows our logic. First, we sort the players list and the trainers list. This is the essential setup step. Then, we initialize our two pointers, I for players and J for trainers, both starting at 0. We also have a count variable to keep track of our matches. The while loop is the heart of the algorithm. It runs as long as we haven't run out of players or trainers. Let's focus on the logic inside the loop. The if statement checks our main rule. Can the current player, at index I, be matched with the current trainer, at index J she's? If they can, we do two things. First, we increment our count of matches. Second, we move our player pointer I forward, because this player has now been successfully matched. Now notice the last line in the loop, where we increment the trainer pointer J. This happens in every single iteration. Why? Well, if we made a match, that trainer is now used, so we need to move to the next one. And if we didn't make a match, it means the trainer was too weak. Since our players are sorted, that trainer will be too weak for all remaining players, so we need to discard them and move on to a stronger trainer anyway. This simple line neatly handles both cases. So how efficient is this approach? The most computationally expensive part is the sorting we do at the very beginning. Sorting a list of size m takes big O of m log m time. So for our two lists, the total time complexity is big O of m log m plus n log n. After the sorting is done, our two-pointer scan is incredibly fast, running in linear time. For space, we aren't creating any large new arrays. The extra memory we use is just what the built-in sorting function needs, which is typically logarithmic space for the recursion stack. So we can say the space complexity is big O of log m plus log n praf. So let's quickly recap the main ideas. First, this problem is a perfect example of where a greedy approach works beautifully. By making the locally optimal choice, matching a player with the least capable trainer that works, we arrive at the globally optimal solution. Second, we saw again how powerful sorting is. It structures the data in a way that allows simple, greedy logic to succeed. If you're ever stuck on a problem, asking what happens if I sort the input is a great place to start. And finally, the two-pointer technique is a must-know pattern for efficiently scanning through one or more sorted lists. And that's a wrap on this problem. I hope this breakdown made the greedy strategy and the two-pointer solution crystal clear. If you found this helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button, and maybe subscribe for more Leetcode explanations. If you have any questions or a different way to solve it, drop a comment below. And hey, if you're feeling extra generous, you can always support the channel through the Boba Fund. Thanks for watching. Keep up the great work, and I'll see you in the next one.